When a band or recording artist makes a mark on the music scene, they tend to become known for their specific style or sound. The creation of music is a personal endeavor, so artists can't help but create music that reflects their own interests and creative process. More often than not, this creates a consistent feeling that runs through all of the artist's work. But every once in a while, artists create something that doesn't quite match up with what people have come to expect from them. Maybe they want to explore new sounds or styles, like Neil Young did with his album Trans, or maybe they want to deliberately fail to deliver what the record label asked for, like Neil Young did on his album right after Trans. And sometimes, things just end up different, even if it's not a deliberate decision. And that is the case with the debut, self-titled album from the digital hip-hop group Gorillaz. Being the debut album from the group, it's obvious that it took several years and a few more albums before it became clear that the group's first outing would stand out as different among the band's discography. In many ways, the album sells the band's core concept better than any of their others. Gorillaz were created to be a completely synthetic band, taking the idea of a fake band from the Monkees and escalating it with animated band members and an alternate universe and storyline that progresses in real time. Their self-titled debut goes to great lengths to convince the listener that the world of Gorillaz is real. Every voice present, with the exception of the guest vocals in Latin Simone, are assigned to a specific member of Gorillaz. Lead singer 2D is voiced by Damon Albarn, the lead singer of Blair and co-creator of Gorillaz. Guitarist Noodle's vocals are provided by Miho Hattori from Chibamato, and Del the Funky Homo Sapien provides the rap sections from Del, a hip-hop ghost that possesses the band's drummer, Russell. The liner notes list each song being written primarily by 2D and Murdoch, who is the band's bassist and leader. Music videos of the album's singles are animated, starring the band and other elements of the project's universe. This album reflects the initial intent of the project, giving a front to collaborations and experimentation separate from personal fame. Musically, the album stands out from the discography as well. Since the Gorillaz were created as a hip-hop group, the album is very much a hip-hop album. There is heavy use of loops and samples, there's rap breaks from Del, and the drums have a grain that make it sound like it's being spun on a record. Overall, it has a very old-school hip-hop style, but there's other styles of music represented as well. Punk and 5/4 are, fittingly, influenced by punk music. Latin Simone has Latin influence, and Slow Country has a reggae-like groove. The band's subsequent albums definitely have all these elements one way or another. The virtual band is still in the front, and the utilization of multiple styles is not only present, but expanded upon, with more modern elements being added to the mix. But there's something different with the albums after the debut. 2D, Murdoch, Russell, and Noodle are still prominent, but Damon Albarn has come to be equally as prominent. Collaborators aren't worked into the lore of the group. Little Dragon, De La Soul, and Bobby Womack appear as themselves, not as Noodle, Russell, or Murdoch. While Gorillaz remains a hip-hop project at its core, the variety of hip-hop the band produces has shifted from its old-school roots to a more electronic and modern style. Russell's drums and Noodle's guitars have been replaced with drum machines and synths. The Gorillaz that has been established since their debut is just as compelling and interesting as it has ever been, but the album that started it all stands as an outsider to the band that many have become familiar with. The album is worth appreciation for its uniqueness as well as its adherence to its concept. It's an excellent example of how a band doesn't have to stick to a formula, and how an album being different doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad.